Dear students, it is the fourth video for the week 7 and our topic is economy of Pakistan and its rudiments or its affiliated factors. In the previous video, we expressed agriculture, fisheries and the livestock, that how are they important in the economy of Pakistan. Clear that most of the people dwelling in village, they have the survival in been grazing sheep and raising these animals like sheep and goats and camels. Well, another decisive factor in the development of a country is the hydropower, hydrocarbon, mean electricity, fuel. Since the world has been materialized and has shifted on machines. Owing to these machines, the industry has developed, production have increased, the lifestyle of the people have changed. Well, the very common thing for the last many years is energy, and the primitive form of energy was hydropower, mean thermal power, or hydropower means the electricity produced from the water. Still, Pakistan is depending on producing electricity through the water and Basha Dam, and then there are many other dams which are being constructed just for the sake of this. Well, but these the production of thermal electricity is quite insufficient to fill up the needs of the industry in Pakistan. Fortunately, with the invention of natural gas, Pakistan took a huge benefit. Fine, but despite all these efforts, uh, Pakistan always needed the fuel, and they had to look forward to Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries to provide them food, mean fuel on sometimes half prices, sometime on mean cash, or sometime on credit. Fine. Anyhow, power is important. For the last 2 decades, uh, especially in PPP government and the previous governments, power sector have been ignored. Owing to this, load shedding time has increased. Power is not being provided to the industries, like in Faisalabad, mills and factories have been closed. Similar is in Karachi, and resultantly, the industry is paralyzed here. Having been troubled and disappointed utterly by the Pakistani government, most of the people have shifted their factories to Sri Lanka and notably to Bangladesh. And for the last 2 decades, Bangladeshis, as compared to Pakistan, has made an excellent progress, and they have raised their production more than Pakistan's. Really? Let's read. Pakistan has a modest quantities of petroleum and some large natural gas fields. The first oil discovery was made in 1915. Pakistan intensified intensified the search for oil and natural gas in 1980s and was rewarded with the discovery of a number of new oil fields in Potawar Plateau and in Sindh. A number of fields have been developed. particularly near Badin in Sindh. Despite the continued search for the new and the richer fields, Pakistan has had to import increased amounts of oil from abroad to satisfy growing consumption, making the country vulnerable to fluctuations in the world oil markets. Most imports take from crude oil, which is refined into the various products. Pakistan's refinery capacity well exceeds its domestic crude production. The oil sector is regulated by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Resources, and the international oil companies are authorized to operate in Pakistan in cooperation with the domestic companies. Fine. The largest natural gas deposits are at Sui on the border between Balochistan and Punjab, discovered in 1953. A smaller field at Madi in northeast Sindh province was found in 1957. A number of smaller natural gas fields subsequently have been discovered in various areas. A network of the gas pipelines links the fields with main consumption in Karachi, Lahore, Multan, Faisalabad, and Islam. Okay. Next is coal mining is one of the country's oldest industries. The quality of gold is poor and the mines have been worked below capacity because of the difficulty of access. Despite the ample reserves, the country regularly imports coal. Fine. And same is the electric power that hydro projects have been projected on. This another thing that Pakistan has done marvelously, that was the building of the nuclear power plants in Karachi, one in Chashma, and other is in Punjab, somewhere in Chashma. Fine. So these plants also have helped Pakistan to meet the need of their energy at on the dire in dire circumstances. Well, manufacturing is another very important industry in Pakistan. Okay, the main manufacturing industry was the cloth and thread, because Pakistan and India used to be the cotton producers, and here the mills were established by the British. Clear. So these textile and the woolen mills were famous in the world, and they still have been doing many things. Despite this, there are many other industries are working. For example, steel mill Karachi with the collaboration of Russia. Second thing is that in Sialkot, the production of the sports and surgical instruments, Gujarat and Gujranwala for electrical productions. Okay, Chiniot and the Silawali, they are for the woodwork. Clear. Cutlery for Wazirabad, and similarly you find that these are the places which produce quality products. But for the last few, or for the last or one decade, the the Pakistani exports have been decreased. There are so many things. Number one, the political instability and lack of the sustained policies in the government. Secondly, pressure groups, mismanagement, international competency, and international market captured by Chinese and other. These are now the serious questions for the manufacturers of the Pakistan. Fine. Well, the last thing we are going to have the finance. Finance means that for running the business, money is the important thing. For the to manage the finance of the country, State Bank of Pakistan was established, and under the State Bank of Pakistan, sub banks like Punjab Bank and MCB and many Islamic banks have been established, and they are working. In Musharraf era, the private banks, they came into operation and they started financing the people. So it is all the story of the banks that provide loans, especially notably Zarai Taraqqiyati Bank, that was established to finance the traders, sorry, the agriculturalists or the farmers. In precise, economy is a huge topic, and for the student of Pakistan studies, it is mandatory to know about the strong and the weak points of the economy, and should be able to analyze that in which era and under which government the policies to sustain and strengthen the economies were made. Anyhow, we find this that the people talk on Facebook and media and Twitter just for the sake of fun or uttered emotion. Being a student, a rational person, we must talk on facts. Thank you very much.